Thank you all for joining us. We have the pleasure of having Martine Piccart with us today. She's been a lead investigator on numerous clinical trials and is a medical oncologist at the Jules Bordet Cancer Institute. Martine, I wanted to ask you about an area that you've had a lot of focus in, and that is the treatment of patients with HER2-positive breast cancer. And there have been several new agents that look promising. And can you give us a review of the ones that you think are particularly promising and where you think the field is going in that area?
Well, I really do believe that we are blessed in this area because in the last few years we have witnessed the development of numerous new anti-HER2 agents, which I must say all look very interesting. And we are going to be facing a problem, which is going to be how can we select the best anti-HER2 drug for an individual woman. So in terms of which are the most exciting compounds, well, certainly this agent called TDM1 is quite interesting. So this is a drug that links trastuzumab, an antibody, to a cytotoxic agent. So it really brings the cytotoxic agent to the HER2 positive cancer cell. And from the early results that we have seen in clinical trials, what I think is really fascinating is that the activity of this drug looks equivalent to what we see when we combine a taxane and trastuzumab, but the toxicity is much less. And that, to me, is going to be very important for women. Of course, we still have now to wait for the definitive results of the phase 3 trials, but clearly this drug looks to me like an extremely promising treatment. And what I'm hoping is that we will have a possibility to design some clinical trials looking at less treatment for these women, because if we just start adding this very clever drug to all the others we are currently giving to women, we are going to see an escalation in treatment toxicity, in cost, while there is a real opportunity now with this drug to de-escalate treatment and to offer a therapy with much less side effects.
Also, there has been a lot of interest in dual biological targeting, so the use of Herceptin and lapatinib, also known as Piccart, both of which are approved. And some of the data now has been available in the metastatic setting of combining the two. And finally, at this meeting, we're going to hear a little bit about this approach in the early stage setting. Can you comment on that strategy and where you think the early results are going to take us?
Well, that's truly a fascinating story. I still remember the year 2005 where we were at the ASCO meeting and heard the first results of the large adjuvant trastuzumab trials. So we immediately felt that something really important was happening in breast cancer. And I think that with the results of the two neoadjuvant trials that are going to be presented tomorrow, we are also going to get into some kind of excitement, because the results of this dual targeting of the HER2 receptor, either by the use of two antibodies, trastuzumab and pertuzumab, or by the use of one antibody, trastuzumab, and then one small molecule, lapatinib, these results are really very striking. But we have to remember that these are still relatively small neoadjuvant trials, and that the endpoint we are examining in this trial is an intermediate endpoint. We are looking at the proportion of women who have a complete disappearance of the tumor. We will see in these trials that this proportion is significantly increased by the use of the two drugs. And we all believe that this should translate into higher cure rates, but that, of course, is not known for sure. And we still need large adjuvant trials to be performed in order for these drugs to be then approved. But to me, this is the indication that we are again making a substantial step forward for women with this disease. And I personally think this is the breast cancer subtype that we are going to cure first. because so much progress has been happening recently, and really the challenge for the scientific community and the medical doctors and the investigators is really the biomarker research related to these drugs. And there I don't think we have made so much progress. And I personally think that we will have to start collaborating much more, otherwise we will still be with this question, but who is the patient cured with trastuzumab? Who is the one who needs 2 drugs? Because 2 drugs is going to be more expensive and certainly not affordable in all regions of the world.
Well, thank you so much, Martine. You've done so much work in the area of HER2-positive breast cancer, and you're right, we've made tremendous progress. So thank you for joining us today, and thank the listeners for being with us as well.